generation, two Prose bros are born, chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. Hello and welcome to a short edition of the Prose Bros Visit Sunnydale. I am Eddie Cruz.
And I am Geoff.
And this week we're going to do a little bit something different. So last week we listened to, in my opinion, the worst Buffy episode of the series so far.
I would say, at least for season 2, it's been my least favorite.
Yes, Killed by Death. We kind of went halfway through a podcast of it and said, fuck this shit, and threw up our arms, knocked down our microphones, and walked out.
By the way, Killed by Death, a better metal band name than it was a Buffy episode.
Yeah, dope. Better metal band name than that. Snake.
Snake?
Just Snake. I've always wanted to have a heavy metal band name named Snake.
I would just do Snake Plissken. I feel like I have to say Plissken after I say Snake.
Oh, that ruins that.
I'm sorry.
So with the 20th anniversary of Buffy that just came up, and our subsequent panel viewing of Nicholas Brendon,
Sure, sounds good to me.
kind of put out a ranking of all the Buffy episodes that have ever happened in one list.
Well, and part of this, I think we were talking about it too afterwards. Nicholas Brendon himself brought up the fact that Once More with Feeling is usually viewed as one of the best, which I can get behind.
And that Beer Bad was viewed as one of the worst.
Which I can't get behind.
No, okay, so we're just going to break down the top 5 and the worst 5, because we don't have time to go through every single episode ever and tell you why we think that these are good or bad, but
actually we do. And we do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we do that on a weekly basis. So we're just going to go over the top 5 that they have and the worst 5 that they have, because we both agree that these are wrong. Well, not wrong, but we have different opinions on that. And I think that last week was, I don't know, I have fond feelings of a lot of the episodes that they had here on the list, or I can justify why they were bad compared to Killed by Death.
And do you think, let me ask you this about the nature of opinions in general. Opinions, even ours, are influenced by each other. So sometimes I feel, and I don't know if you feel the same, that if somebody's like, this is a bad episode, it gets put out there in the world, in pop culture, that it's bad, it's bad, it's bad.
It's like subliminal messaging, right? If somebody just tells you something's bad over and over and over and over, eventually that's going to seep in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go over the top 5 worst episodes that they had. So the 5th worst that they had was Never Kill a Boy on the First Date. The 4th worst was Some Assembly Required. The 3rd worst was I, Robot You, Jane. The 2nd worst was Bad Eggs. And the worst was Beer Bad.
So all-time worst, Beer Bad.
All-time worst episode, Beer Bad.
Where'd you get this list from, Eddie?
BuzzFeed. So Beer Bad, in my opinion, isn't the worst episode for a few reasons. Number one, it moves the plot forward, as in Buffy is getting over a relationship. She needs to move on from that, and getting drunk and the end of that episode is how she gets over it. It's a major step in Buffy's life.
And I view it as cathartic.
Yeah.
So Buffy is having a typical college freshman experience. She's been wronged by love, but in a different way than Angel. A lot more, I wouldn't call it innocent, but more natural. He didn't turn into a vampire. He just turned into a typical dick.
Yeah. Plus Xander, bartender, awesome. That being said, we still haven't seen this episode, and maybe it is that bad. Maybe we have these weird memories of it without any kind of substance.
I don't know, though, because the ones that we usually hate, we don't remember a lot of. We remember bits and pieces.
That's true. And I kind of wonder how many of these episodes, whoever compiled this list, I'm sure it's a committee of people or something, but did they rewatch every episode like what we're doing? Because I feel like our list is going to be more exact, or not. Who cares? But also, it feels like this. They did Beer Bad, and then 4 episodes from season 1. They just like kind of threw season 1 under the bus.
Also, another question, I think maybe personal preference, they would look at it and say like, well, no, generally people like this one, so this won't go on my list.
Yeah.
And maybe they also looked as like, well, I can't have a Joss Whedon written episode be bad, so I'm not going to put that in my list.
Yeah. Was that written by Joss Whedon?
No, but I'm just saying anyone like if, because I think the puppet one was, right?
Yeah.
And that's not there, and I think it should be.
I just think it's a cop-out to have, number one, Beer Bad, which doesn't make any sense, and then all these season 1 episodes, Bad Eggs, I, Robot You, Jane, some Assembly Required, and Never Kill a Boy on the First Date, all have the out of they are early episodes, right? They haven't really established the world as much, and also they're kind of like an experiment also, you know? The first season was kind of experimental, you know? They didn't know where they're going with it. But season 2, towards the end of it, we have Killed by Death, an episode that feels like it should be before all of these episodes, brings nothing to the table, has no kind of, I don't know, it puts Buffy in no imminent peril, really. She just breaks the guy's neck at the end. It's so lackluster. It's a generic copy of the Nightmares episode.
And it doesn't really add anything to the story.
Nothing at all. And
at least some assembly required for me. While it is earlier in season 2, I liked because it had some great Cordelia moments.
Mm-hmm. Bad Eggs has that crazy stare that they all do when they're putting the puppet on people.
Yeah, I still think maybe that should be...
That should be top 5, but it should be 5 or 4 in my opinion. And we still haven't seen a lot of the other ones. I, Robot You, Jane is pretty fucking bad. But Beer Bad is not as bad as I, Robot
MJ.
You, Jane.
We made him watch one of the universally disliked.
Yeah. Sim Assembly Required. Once again, I don't think that these are worse than Killed by Death.
Maybe we should have him on for all these episodes.
Let's have him. Let's pick. Well, we've already passed all of them except for Beer Bad. Let's bring him back for Beer Bad.
Okay.
If he wants to. What if MJ's like, actually, I didn't enjoy myself, guys. All right, let's talk about the top 5 best episodes of all time. At number 5, they have The Gift. Number 4, they have The Wish. Number 3, they have The Body. Number 2, they have Once More with Feeling. And number 1, they have Becoming. There's an episode missing from the top 5 here.
The Strokes.
The Strokes.
Wait,
that's exactly, yeah.
I heard all the
bands.
I got confused.
Well, I don't see Hush on here.
Nope.
What the fuck are these people thinking? I get it. These have a lot to do like with awesomeness. And maybe they asked Joss Whedon what his favorite episodes were to do. Because that feels more like what this list would be. Except I think Hush would be before The Gift.
The Gift, I think of as a good episode. A lot happens in it that's important to the series. But I don't remember that being like, oh my God, this one's
I do remember
amazing.
that being like a really good ending to the series. If it had ended at season 5, I think The Gift would have been very, very, very gravitas and done really extremely well. But because she comes back to life, The Gift is almost kind of empty in all of like that narration at the end where she's like, go on without me, guys. Just keep living life.
So basically...
I died for you. And then she just comes back to life and you're like, all right, well that...
Basically you're saying Jesus' death didn't mean as much because he came back.
Yeah, well, duh. I don't see Hush on here. I personally think that Hush is the best episode of the series. If I ever want to tell people Buffy's an amazing show, I show them Hush. I don't show them The Body because that's just incredibly awkward. I don't show them Becoming because they don't have any idea what the fuck's going on in the show.
Same thing with The Body. You can't really show them The Body because you don't have that attachment to Joyce yet. You can feel for Buffy, but you don't understand what it means for somebody to die a natural death in a world where people get killed by the supernatural
Not to mention,
constantly.
As much as I love The Body, it doesn't explore all of the things that I love about Buffy. It is an experimental episode, and it's really, really, really well done. However, I would say that more than half of the reason why I love Buffy is because of the humor of the show. And The Body is completely void of any humor. In my opinion, kind of takes a major part of what I like about the show out.
So let me ask you this about some of your favorite episodes. Would you consider them favorite because you can watch them at any point and you don't have to rewatch the season? Or you could show it to somebody and still like it? Or is it like, this is so important, particularly in this season overall?
I think it's a combination of all of that stuff. Like, did the episode have an impact on the series matters to me. Watchability from both people that love the show and have never seen the show matters to me. I don't know. I think like Becoming definitely lands on this list. I love Tabula Rasa. I love all the funny ones. I love, which one's the one where she's in the shop and she just has to redo the same day over and over?
It's a season 6 one with the trio for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it, but that's
that one's one of my favorites. The part where she's crying because of the candle. That's amazing.
I love
Band
that scene.
Candy, where you find out that Joyce and Giles have sex on the top of a car twice.
And I love that scene in that trio episode just because Buffy's amazing at being the Slayer, but she can't do customer service. She can't do construction. She can't have a real job.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, so The Wish, I do agree that is one of the best. I would say it's probably number 5 for me. I don't know. I just don't like this list.
No. You know which one I love? And I can't remember the name of it, but it's a season 4 episode. It's a Thanksgiving episode when she's in college. And they do something where somebody steals one of the artifacts and all the, I guess, Native American people come back and attack Buffy while she's trying to have a Thanksgiving dinner.
That was an awesome one.
And Spike's tied up.
Yeah, and gets shot like 17 times just on the heart.
That one's just hilarious. I think Angel comes back in that one too.
Yeah, he does.
And I don't see that. I know it's not the best of all time, but I think that's a completely underrated episode.
I agree. I wouldn't say it's in my top 5, but it's a great episode. What would you say is one of your top 5 that aren't on this list?
That's the first one that came to mind. Tabula Rasa is another great one. I really liked the Halloween episodes, except for the season 6 Halloween with Dawn.
Oh, yeah, that was really bad. No, I don't know. There's still good things about that. Spike acting like an older brother. Some good stuff.
Good, but I wouldn't say that's anywhere near top 5 or top 10 for me.
And definitely not as bad as Killed by Death.
I guess maybe I like holiday episodes.
Me too. I mean, I think maybe
done well.
Simpsons kind of brought that on, right? Treehouse of Horror set the standard. Well, anyways, that's our thoughts on these top best and top worst episodes of Buffy. So if you have any questions or comments, you can go to our Facebook, and you probably won't do that.
Or Twitter. I encourage everybody to, because this
Twitter
is just...
Jeff.
There's basically 2 assholes talking
Jeff.
about Buffy. Tell us what you think. Call us a fucking asshole. I don't know. It's fun.
Rate and review our podcast if you listen. We would greatly appreciate it. Did I do a good job on that?
Barely.
No, I didn't do a good job. Okay.